Welcome to NTV News, and today we report on the global crackdown on youth social media and smartphone use. From classrooms to courtrooms, a global movement is underway to address the impact of social media and smartphones on youth. Governments, educators, and parents are taking unprecedented steps to regulate digital consumption among minors. But is this the solution to a growing problem, or are we overlooking deeper issues? Australia is pioneering a world-first age assurance technology trial to enforce age restrictions on social media platforms. The trial tests various age verification technologies, including document checks and biometric screening. Over 50 tech platforms, including Meta and Snapchat, have participated. An interim report has been submitted, with the final report expected by the end of June 2025. Over in France, they're advocating for a Europe-wide ban on social media access for children under 15. The initiative includes forming a European coalition to establish common legislation requiring mandatory age verification. President Emmanuel Macron supports the measure, considering it a European priority. Whilst over in the United States, Connecticut's House of Representatives approved legislation to protect minors from targeted social media algorithms between 9 p.m. and 8 a.m., requiring parental consent for personalized content. On the federal level, the Kids Off Social Media Act proposes prohibiting social media platforms from allowing children under 13 to create accounts and restricts algorithmic recommendations for users under 17. I think the key takeaway from all of this right now is this all a little, too late? Or perhaps maybe it's never too late. It's a good thing now that governments are getting involved, taking social media use and smartphone use, especially by the youth, a lot more seriously. I'm from a time not too long ago, the 90s, where we didn't have such things like smartphones and the internet was considered a luxury. So it's kind of strange how things have developed so rapidly over the last few decades, when nowadays everything is so entrenched and intertwined within the internet and social media, not to mention smart devices, that we forget that we've become so dependent on technology and so dependent on the internet. Our everyday life is tracked and measured by technology. If you exercise, if you're ordering food, if you have to rent a car, everything you do is linked to some sort of smart device. You have smart TVs and smartphones. It's kind of ironic. We've become so dependent on these devices that we've lost touch altogether with being capable of doing anything without them. Not too long ago, it was the case that people used to say, well, Google this. And now with the onset and the development and growth of AI, it seems that's the next stage. And people are now even commenting how Googling something has become so outdated and it's now all ChatGPT. Taking into account all of this, I think we take for granted how much of this affects actually younger, impressionable minds. Probably why we're seeing an increase in mental health conditions and issues amongst the youth. But even so, governments are increasingly implementing policies to regulate youth access to social media, focusing on age verification and content restrictions. And this is a much needed measure, especially in today's world, especially when we have become so digitized. But how much of it is actually necessary or required? Well, that is the thing that we have to consider. A growing number of millennials and Gen Zers, or Zoomers, are embracing abstinence. This is the new movement called the Appstinence movement, quite aptly put, which is reducing smartphone use and returning to simpler, dumb phones to combat screen addiction and improve mental well-being. Advocates like Gabriela Nguyen have started clubs promoting this lifestyle on college campuses. On the other side, we have parents expressing concerns over their children's smartphone usage, leading to debates about appropriate age for device ownership and the impact on social development. Societal movements and parental concerns are influencing youth behavior and prompting reconsideration of digital habits. This is a good thing because at the end of the day, governments should only really get involved to a certain degree without encroaching too much into one's private lives. Overall, it doesn't only come down to the government, but it also comes down to these big tech and social media platform companies, and more so down to the parents, because the responsibility or the brunt of the responsibility is upon them to regulate what their children access and what they consume and how much of it they consume. In Australia, Queensland police are leveraging social media to apprehend young offenders who post about their crimes online. Since the law's expansion in August 2024, 195 individuals have been charged under these provisions. Whereas many US states are implementing or considering statewide bans on cell phones in schools to mitigate youth mental health concerns and distractions during academic instruction. As of April 2025, 18 states have enacted such policies. That's kind of wild because when I was in school and we did have mobile phones, we weren't allowed to use them or bring them to class. Heck, we weren't even allowed to have Walkmans in class or Discmans. Those ancient artifacts that probably nobody's heard of before. Legal measures are being enforced to address the intersection of youth behavior, crime, and digital platforms. This could be a good thing, but also maybe it could also lead to perhaps draconian measures as well that may be far too abusive. It's a matter of having a middle ground and considering what works in the better interests of all involved, in my opinion. A Pew Research Center study found that 44% of teens have cut back on using social media and smartphones, indicating growing awareness of digital consumption's impact. That's a good thing. The American Psychological Association, however, advises that while social media can have benefits, and it also poses risks to mental health, necessitating further research and balanced approaches. Research highlights the complex relationship between social media usage and teen mental health, underscoring the need for informed strategies. On statistics of this year in regards to social media usage and app usage, and it's rather informative and telling about the trends and how things have changed considerably. Experts emphasize the importance of balanced approaches, combining technology limits with open communication between adults and adolescents. The American Psychological Association provides recommendations to ensure that teens develop healthy social media practices. That's kind of interesting. I never thought I would hear that nowadays. Back when I was growing up, the concept of social media practices, healthy social media practices, would be something alien. The fact that we actually have to now enlist such a thing today really tells you how far gone we are and how far entrenched we are within the digital age. Collaboration among stakeholders is essential to foster a healthy digital environment for the youth. And I think that is probably the best move forward. If anything, this shows that collaboration among stakeholders is essential to foster a healthy digital environment for youth. My final thought on all of this is that the global crackdown on youth social media and smartphone use reflects a collective effort to address the challenges posed by digital consumption. While policies and societal movements aim to protect young individuals, it's crucial to balance regulation with education and open dialogue. As we navigate this digital age, fostering responsible usage and mental well-being remains a shared responsibility. Thanks for tuning in. This was NTV News. If you like this video, give it a like, subscribe, and comment what you think. Do you disagree? Do you agree? It will be interesting to know your thoughts. And also, please share. Thanks for tuning in.